Saturday was a really disappointing game for our fans, for our players, and our coaches. I think sometimes people don't realize that coaches feel responsible. And when you lose a football game, and especially one at home, and one you feel like that you could have won, it's really sad for them as well because they know how many people they let down. It's our job to help the players. You go back and look at our series with Kansas State. It hadn't been good. It's been a hard game for us. Two of the three conference games now we've lost at home were Kansas State, and this one looked about like the one in '99. It's a bunch of turnovers, kicking game problems, returned a punt for a touchdown, and ended up winning the game. In fact, we go back, I think we've had 24 turnovers and only gained 6 in our 6 losses at home in the 10 years that we've been here, and obviously that was an emphasis for this ball game. When you look at turnovers, we lost 4 and gained none, which is very difficult to win when that happens. Explosives, surprisingly enough, we gained 7 and they only got 4. So we had nearly twice as many, 6 passes for over 16 yards and 1 run to their 4. But the kicking game, the 2 plays in the kicking game were not only awful for us that turned the game, but they were also at critical times with momentum, because the one kickoff return with 2:24 left in the half, when it's a 14-14 game and we're about to take momentum into halftime because we've just scored and we get the ball to start the third quarter, and then the 89-yard punt return, we're going to have great field position because defense is playing great. We'll hold them, and they, with 1:55 left in the third quarter, down by 6. So we had our opportunities and just did not take advantage of them at that time. Offensively, kids played hard, made some really good plays, but got frustrated during the game. We did not protect Colt well enough. When you go back and look at the tip balls or the interceptions, every one of them had somebody in his face or hit him. And we've got to do a better job. And it wasn't just offensive line. It was a running back or a tight end or a receiver with a bust. So Colt got responsibility for a lot of things that he didn't do poorly. Then you go back, and he also made some great plays. We go back and look at why we felt like as a staff we got away from the running game too soon. Jamal was running really, really hard and well. And when we got down by 14 in late third quarter, we should have continued to run the ball to try to help us with protection. So we abandoned it quicker than we thought we should have in looking back. And we also had too many missed assignments, so we feel like we're doing too much. Kansas State was a blitzing team. They blitzed us a lot, and we had too many missed assignments and too many free people. Defense played really hard throughout the game. I was proud that they hung in there at the end. The positives for the defense are they only gave up 4 yards per pass to Kansas State, and they only gave up 2 yards per run. Sudden change, the 3 scores, 2 field goals, and a touchdown came within 82 yards of the goal line, so the turnovers put our defense in a really, really tough spot. But they did take momentum back for us. The last 51 plays of the game after the first drive of 80 yards, our bunch held them to 147 total yards, so we did not let them do a lot offensively. The thing we didn't do well on defense, there were 3 areas. Number one, we missed too many tackles, especially on the first drive. We had 90 yards of missed tackles that they made after contact, which keeps you from having minus yardage plays or getting sacks. And their quarterback's a big, strong guy, but we had 1 batted ball and only 1 sack. And the other part of it is that we didn't force a turnover. So we did what we needed to do to hang in the game defensively. We didn't do what we needed to do to win the game. And that was in the kicking game and the turnover area defensively. So both of those areas were concerns for us. I was really proud of the group of students that stood and cheered the team as they left the field. Never seen that before. And I thought, whoever they were, thank you. What a nice gesture for a pretty good group that stood at the end of a very, very disappointing game. That's just unusual in college sports anymore to see somebody do that. And I think it's good that the students are in that end zone, and the ones that were there at the end, I really appreciate for the kids who really tried. And we've said before, losses are on coaches, wins are on kids. And that's what happens at the University of Texas. That's not going to change. Bob Stoops has done a great job at Oklahoma. This is one of the premier events in college football. It's always a great setting. It is an event. It's not just a football game. We've got a lot of work to do on ourselves, so we got to go back to work and get a lot of things fixed. This is still a team that can be good, but we're inconsistent right now, and we're too inconsistent to be where we want to be. That hadn't changed. I've always said the polls should come out this week or next week, and boy, was I right last weekend. For all y'all that had your polls fixed at the first of the year, you don't want to show them this week. So, questions?
OU drastically different in the first wins than what happened on Saturday in Colorado. What did you see in the differences?
Well, it's we've always said it's hard for both teams to play the week before the game and the week after the game. And you go back and look. We've looked at breakdowns. We haven't watched the game film yet. We pull out 3rd and 4, and we pull out 1st and 10. So I really don't know what happened. But their game, like Kansas State, Colorado's been a tough place for them to play historically, even when I was there, and been like Kansas State for us. But OU's got they've got one of the most talented teams in the country, and they're one of the best coached teams in the country.
Can you talk about their young quarterback and what he's done and able to accomplish, much like Colt did last year?
Yeah, he's great. He's big, he's tall, he's athletic. He's #1 passing efficiency quarterback in the country. He's completing 70%, and I think he's a bunch of touchdowns and very few interceptions. So he's really good. He's played more mature than his age, that's for sure.
Coach, when you went back and looked at the kick returns that you gave up, was it big problems or little problems on the paper?
Well, we're not kicking it and punting it where we want to. The punt was a little lower than we need, and the kick was high and short, and not in the areas we need them to, and then we missed some tackles. So, I mean, it's just it was there. The effort was there. Our lane integrity was not good in one situation with a punt because we had 3 guys that were too close to each other, and the guy broke it off to the right. And on the kick, same thing. We miss a tackle with one gunner. The other gunner is bunched up when it's supposed to be a shot at the ball for him. So we got to continue to do a better job there. We've given up too many kickoff returns in the last 4 or 5 years.
It's a classic case of two teams kind of getting ahead of each other with this Texas OU game coming up last week.
Both teams were disappointed Saturday. I know that.
Sense any of that at all?
I don't know. I thought our bunch played hard, and Oklahoma always plays hard. So got to give some credit to Colorado and K-State. Of course, a lot of people probably want to be scheduled the week before that game. They probably fight with the Big 12 office to get that spot. The one before and the one after is a pretty good spot. What it is, it's a huge game at midseason. I mean, it's very, very difficult for both teams.
Were you happy with the way Charles was used in the offense, especially in the first half?
Yeah, we were in the first half, and then again, when we got behind, we got away from the run. We didn't put him back in until the doctors pulled Colt out at the end. But we need to continue to look at that. John's such a great athlete that we need to continue to look at that package.
You've had a history of protecting your freshmen during Texas OU. Have to change that because of Charles?
No, we need to do whatever we need to do to win a game. And I don't know where that history came from you, not me.
Mack, Colt's so good when he has to improvise, but he kind of exposes himself at the same time. What's the fine line there?
Oh, he'll continue to learn to get down. He's tough. Most kids probably would have come out at halftime. He stayed in there and tried to win, and that's what you appreciate about him. I think the kids really appreciate after watching the film how many licks he's taken. We just got to take care of him better. He's got to take care of himself better, and we got to take care of him better.
Is he going to play this week? I mean, how does he?
We can't talk about injuries. You're not from here, obviously.
You can't do that, George.
You can't do that, George. Most people can. We can't.
How is he doing?
George isn't from here.
Coach,
He's here. He'll talk to you.
OU's defense changed at all?
No, really good. Really good. They're great against the run, and they blitz a lot and put pressure on your quarterback and try to hit him. So they're very much like Kansas State. So we'll have to do a much better job protecting this week.
Coach, are you surprised that you're still talking about some of the same problems with your team that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago?
No, usually your problems are your problems, and you continue to try to fix them. And it's a time that's what coaches do. So What we've got to do is continue to work on those areas. If they wouldn't have been problems, then we wouldn't have been talking about them a few weeks ago. And there's no wand. We don't have free agency. We don't have a waiver wire. We can't bring somebody in. So we just got to continue to work on them and fix them, and that's our job as coaches. And I really believe when you're not getting them fixed and kids are trying, the good thing is our kids tried. When they're trying, it gives you a better opportunity to fix them, and that just puts more pressure on the coaches to get it fixed. If the kids weren't trying, it'd be something else.
Coach, you talked about the success against Kansas State's pass, numbers-wise. Obviously, Oklahoma can throw the ball well, too. What did you see out of the DBs?
Did good. They did a good job keeping everything in front of them. I think Kansas State tried 5 trick plays this year, and I don't remember any of them working, where last year I think they tried 17 and all of them worked. So that's an area we improved. We played well enough to win on defense. When you go back and we didn't win the game on defense, we played well enough to win if we hadn't turned it over the 6 plays that we talk about, or the 6 they made and we didn't. But you go back to that game the last 3 years, it's been down to 3 points, 4 points, 3 points. It's been an ugly game. It's been a game with the team that turned it over the least and kicked it the best. And I thought we lost our patience offensively, and they didn't. They played within themselves. They didn't take as many chances as they did last year. They played field position, and we didn't. We turned the ball over and lost the game.
Coach, do you see a two-headed monster at running back with the Sooners?
Oh, yeah, 3-headed. They've got 3 great running backs. Their 3 running backs could play about anywhere in the country. They're all 3 really good. Their offensive line's the same one we played 2 years ago. They're I think they're the 2nd largest in the country, and somebody told me Texas Tech's the only one bigger, so that's great. We got them too as we look down the road. But they're really running the ball well. They're physical. Their receivers are the same ones we played 2 years ago that are all really fast and good. And the quarterback was the question mark, and Sam's more than answered that question. He's been a great player for him, not a good player.
Continuation of Texas OU at Dallas, and we'll go on for another few years. Are you happy with that, and do you like going back there?
You know, I don't really care. I thought I've been here 10 years, and that game was moved there in the 1920s or something, so I really felt like that guys like Coach Royal that played in that game and had coached in it for 20 years and been here for ever 50 years, DeLoss that's been here for 27 years, those guys, along with OU, should make that decision. I really thought it'd be unfair for me, being an outsider coming in for only 10 years, to start making a decision in what was best for a history like that one for that game.
How much of a recruiting tool is it for you?
The game is a great game for recruiting. Whether it's in Dallas or in a parking lot wouldn't make any difference for recruiting. It's just a great game. I don't know. If the game was home and home, it'd still be a great game. It's a great rival game. The history of this game is so much. It's more unique, like Georgia, Florida, Florida, Georgia, because it's played at a neutral site. And there's a lot of history there, but it would be a great game either way, in my estimation. What else?
Coach Mack, I'm sorry. Coach Mack, Colt McCoy is claiming his identity was stolen online. I know your assistant coaches monitor the players' web pages like MySpace and Facebook. Did you guys know there was a couple of web pages out there with some questionable photographs claiming to be Colt on them, or you don't care because he's claiming his identity was stolen?
No, we constantly look at it. Mine was stolen. 2 years ago, we had somebody come to me, some young students, and at lunch and say, "Are you really answering as our friends?" I had 2,000 friends I was answering every day, and I don't even know what a MySpace was at that time. So it's really, really dangerous. And I called the athletic department and called Patty Ollendorf and asked them to research it immediately and get whoever was using my name falsely in a MySpace off. So I think that's a very viable problem right now, and something we all have to be aware of and look at carefully.
Is there any concern that
Yes.
web pages have him in uniform, holding a football, have his bios, and he plays for University of Texas on it?
Well, anything that's fraudulent is concerning. Yes.
Did you happen to see the Vince Young interview on 60 Minutes last night?
No, I did not.
He talked about, this was actually done before the season, talked about team unity and how important that is. And sometimes players don't understand how important team unity is and getting along and so forth. How important is that in your view, that players understand each other, to kind of know
think it's most important. We're not talking about golf or tennis. It's an individual sport. You've got to have a lot of diverse kids and coaches mixed together to play like one, and that's a very difficult thing to do. But your chemistry, your effort together, playing as an offense and a defense and a kicking game together is all very hard. And like we told our team yesterday, we had some guys play the best they've ever played on Saturday, and it's really a shame since the team lost, they won't get credit for their play. And then we had some guys that didn't play as well. Or we have a big win against somebody else and somebody didn't play well and they get credit for having a great game. But that's why it's all about the team. It's not about individual performances.
Is this a team that can still improve in those areas and get better?
I think every team can always improve in those areas. It's really early in the season. This was a team with a lot of question marks to start the year, and we're improving in some areas each week. We've still got some areas that we've got to continue to fix, and we got to keep doing that.
Back to Texas OU, are you worried about the speed of Oklahoma? It seems like they have a lot of speed on that team.
Yes.
What concerns you, and how do you slow that down?
How do I slow it down? I don't know. They're real fast. Hard to slow fast guys down. But they're real fast and real good. I think they're as talented as anybody in the country, and we know Bob's a great coach, so that combination is really tough.
What's it like going into this game knowing you're fighting for not only your first Big 12 win, but also to stay in the top 25?
Well, what you do is you try to play your best regardless. You don't worry about all that stuff that is a reward for winning. You worry about winning. And that's the thing that's different for the guys. They want to play better. Our coaches want us to play better, and we want to win. And it's not all those years that we worried about the top 25, or all those years, if we had been concerned about the top 25 that we're in, we might not have been in it. And that's why you really don't even look at those stats. You just try to play good. Try to do the best you can do, and if you do the best you can do and you don't win, then you go to the next week and you try to get better. And that's what coaches and players do. They continue to try to get better.
Is it kind of crazy though thinking that one of you guys is going to be 0-2 in conference after this?
Well, again, you don't think about negatives. Sure, both teams are thinking about winning.
The players always say it's a little faster when you get through the tunnel. What's it for a coach? You've been on both sides.
Coaches work. It's an exciting game. It's a great game, but you're still working them, and you do everything you can do to try to help your guys get in a position to win the game. And after the game starts, that doesn't change. I mean, you don't even think about things outside of what you need to do to put your guys in the right positions. And then after the game, obviously, you go back to a different mode. But when that game starts, you're working.
But before the game, you have that.
Oh, before the game's fun. It's great. It's such an unbelievable atmosphere to see half the stadium with the crimson and half with the orange, and it's one of the few settings like that in the country. It's just it's an unbelievable setting.
You have time for a corny dog?
Haven't eaten any corny dogs.
Anything else?
I hear they're good though.
Okay, Coach.
Thanks, folks. Thank you.